Leadership and legacy. This is going to be a really good one because at the end of the day, our main focus at Heartletics is really helping people become the best versions of themselves. And we always say it like this. There's 4 pillars to having success. Your physical, right? That's your body, you working out, you eating healthier. Emotionally, right? That's a huge one that a lot of guys suffer with, right? Because they like to hold everything into themselves and try to be Mr. Fix-It, right? And never vent or ask for help or look for other people to help hold them accountable or whatever the case may be, right? Mentally, which is another thing that a lot of guys suffer with, right? Where mentally it's maybe where you don't feel like you have all the tools to succeed. You have these self-limiting beliefs, these doubts, right? The lies of the past that's holding you back like a ball and chain. And then lastly, spiritually, whatever it is that you firmly believe in, you got to have that trust, you got to have that faith, right? And that's a big aspect to just giving you that unshakable confidence to moving forward in the right direction and stepping outside your comfort zone. These 4 pillars of success, right? Remember, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, these are huge when it comes to having a driving force to reaching your goals, but ultimately also you becoming the best version of yourself. And today I want to talk about leadership and legacy and why that is so important to helping you develop how you can become the best version of yourself. So first off, let's talk about what a leader is and some of the character traits that a leader has. And let's face the facts here. Leaders are mentors. Leaders are coaches. Depending on how you are as, let's say, if you're a father or mother to your children, right? You could be potentially a leader to them. Teachers could be leaders. Anybody could be a leader. And so all these leaders have a few different common personality traits. They have integrity. They inspire, right? They're there to motivate each other. They're there to, help others lead, plain and simple. And I always say this, anybody can be a leader. Anybody can be that inspiration. If let's say you're on a fat loss journey and you're able to successfully lose 50 pounds of fat, get off all your medications, have tons of energy, you look good, you feel good. Well, guess what? You're going to be that inspiration for other people out there that's maybe struggling to burn body fat as well. You prove that you can do it, just like Roger Bannister, right? Who was the first person ever to complete the 4-minute mile. He was able to do that, right? He broke those self-limiting beliefs, those self-doubts, for other people that, hey, it's possible. You have that same inspiration, right, with your fitness journey to prove to other people that it's possible and be that inspiration to them as well. It's all about being a good example, right? You have a clear vision also when you're a leader, right? It's just like, and what do I mean by having a clear vision? Well, everybody has goals, right? But a leader is going to know, hey, in the midst of the storm, the fog, right, the dust, it might be hard, right, going through the darkness to still see that goal, but they have a clear vision on the outcome. They know what they want. They know where they're trying to get to. They understand that at times it's going to be a little bit blurry, that vision, but it's there, and they're working towards that. Those goals are crystal clear. They can communicate clearly also. And so what does that mean? Does that mean being good at public speaking? No, but it's being able to share, right? And that's why I always say that anybody can be a leader because you can use your own personal story. Let's face the facts here. Everybody has been through some hardships in their own life. Everybody had to go through some adversity. So to be a better leader is to clearly communicate. And what does that mean? Well, let's just say your kids are struggling with something, struggling with maybe going through school and they're not, passing a class. Maybe they're getting bullied and picked on because whatever the case may be, or maybe they can't excel at a certain sport. Well, you can use yourself to clearly communicate with them. Hey, I was in your shoes. Here's what has helped me. And this is why I always tell everybody, focus on something, a goal that's going to be hard, right? But at the same time, it pushes you to greatness. Because let's face the facts here. When you get over the hard stuff and what you do, what is hard in the beginning, it makes your life a lot easier at the end of it. So if you can focus on doing some of that and focus on a goal that's clear, right? Measurable, right? It's a smart goal, but it's also at the same time, it's going to challenge you. It's going to push you. If you're going through any kind of storms or battles to help achieve yourself on that goal, let's face the facts here. If your kids were in that same situation, what's better? Somebody that says, hey, here's what you should do, or hey, here's what you should do, and here's how I got through it. Let me explain what I did to help you. So if let's just say you're trying to burn body fat and you're not having success. Maybe you're at a plateau or a stumbling block, whatever the case may be. What are you going to do? Just quit, throw in the white towel, go back to your old ways and give up? Well, what if your kids, right, grew up to be the same age as you are right now and struggling with the same health issues? Maybe they're 50 pounds overweight. Maybe they're lacking confidence, self-esteem, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And you had to tell your child, right? Hey, what kind of advice would you give to them? What kind of communication would you portray to them to help them? Would you just say hey, keep on chugging, Junior. You got this. Hey, don't quit. Don't give up. Well, hey, how credible is that when you didn't take your own advice? You quit. You gave up. Now you're a hypocrite, right? So it's just you can clearly communicate with your own story. And this is why I always say, push yourself each and every day, 1% better. Touch that comfort zone and take that leap, take that step, get out there, right? And so you can use a story. Hey, I know it's tough to lose the weight. Hey, I know it's tough and it's not the best, right? Taking all these medications each and every day, but luckily you can do something, right? And here's exactly how I did it to lose the weight and got off all my medications. Now you can help them out, right? It's better to, walk the walk rather than talk the talk, so to speak. What else does leadership, have in common with these traits? Support. Think about it, right? A leader is going to be there to help you, motivate you, support you, encourage you, and they focus on the team aspect rather than just the individual aspect. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, this sounds great, and most people, that are going to be listening to this, they're employed, So maybe they're not self-employed. Maybe they work for somebody, which is fine, but you need to be careful, right? I'm not trying to bash anybody here, but there's a big difference between a boss and a leader. A boss, it drives employees versus a leader that coaches employees, A boss is going to say I, right? Me. A leader is going to say we, together, a unit, right? A team. A boss is also going to, they're going to blame others. If let's say things aren't going well in their business, they're going to blame other people, or they're going to point the finger. And you got to remember this. Anytime in life you're pointing the finger at somebody or something, right? You got to remember there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. And a leader is going to take responsibilities for their own actions. And that's hard to do at times. It definitely is. But hey, a leader's always going to do that rather than just, blame. Because at the end of the day, that's not going to change the issue, What else? Well, hey, guess what? A boss, they know how it's done. And they're just going to say, hey, go ahead and do this, right? Making sure it's done perfect to my expectations. Rather than a leader is going to show people how it's done. Hey, let me, put my sleeves up here get a little bit dirty, right? And let me show you how it's done, rather than just tell. A boss also uses people. When a leader develops people, they say, okay, hey, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Let's improve on that. Let's build upon those strengths. Let's also make those weaknesses, not so weak. Let's build upon those as well. Let's really help you develop into who you can become, rather than, a boss that's just going to use people. They're not going to develop like a leader. A boss is also going to take credit. If let's say something goes well within the team or something goes well within, the employer, the boss, the business, whatever the case may be, they're going to say, hey, this is done. We hit our goals because of me. They're going to take all the credit, take all the ownership, rather than a leader is actually going to give credit. Hey, we were able to get here because of this person and this person and this person. They were able to step up to the plate when we needed them the most. A boss commands. A leader asks. Big difference. A boss also says go, and a leader says let's go. Remember, there's a big difference between a boss and a leader. And why am I telling you this? Well, I want you to become a leader. Don't think you need to run your own business to be a leader. No. I want you to be a leader for yourself. I want you to be a leader for your family. I want you to be a leader to inspire your friends, inspire your family members, inspire your coworkers, your community, whatever the case may be, your neighbors. I want you to step up. And I don't want you to live on this, playing field of your comfort zone and be scared to take that step outside of it. I want you to step up, and a leader is always going to step up. You see about all these traits that I just went off, right? Integrity, inspiration, being a good example, a vision, right? Clear goals, clear communication, support, encouragement, focus on the team aspect. Anybody can be a leader, right? But like anything in life, it requires some patience. It requires some discipline. It requires, hey, you're stepping up, you're putting in the work, even on days when you don't feel like it. But that's also what makes people successful rather than people that just, go back to the old ways and quit. I don't want you to be a quitter. So I want you to have that leadership mindset that's going to push you. And I think the best way to help get inside your mindset a little bit more is by focusing on this, right? Of course, I want you to become a leader, but why do I really want you to become a leader? It's so that way you can leave a legacy. Big difference, right? I don't want you to just be a leader to motivate others and help out others. I want you to be such a leader that you actually leave a legacy. That maybe it's within your family, maybe it's within your community, maybe it's within your friends, whatever the case may be, where you're being that inspiration for others. You're really helping them. You're really driving them and encouraging them to step it up. But guess what? Whatever it is that you are teaching them successfully to help motivate them, they can then teach it then to their kids. And they can teach it to their kids or their family or their friends and so forth and so forth. And that's how you're going to make the world a better place, And I always say this, leaders are always learning. If there's one skill that you can truly focus on the most that probably helps you out in every aspect of life, it's to always be a student. Even with the leaders, right? The greats that you see out there, they all have mentors. And those people have mentors. And those people have mentors, right? That's why there's like mastermind classes and mastermind groups and these top people, right? They all get together to share their ideas, share their viewpoints, share, how to help each other grow in the midst of all this. So never stop learning, because if you can focus on becoming a better leader and you have that deep-rooted why, and maybe that deep-rooted why is to leave a legacy, and then you also know, okay, awesome. Now, we know what we want. We want to become a better leader. We know we want to leave a legacy, but you have to understand this. You always have to be a student, and that's going to help you out so much so, because the minute you start thinking you're better than everybody else, no matter how high to the top of the mountain you get, your ego is just going to be feeding you tons and tons and tons of lies, all right? No matter how successful you get, it doesn't matter, right? You should always be learning, always be developing, and it's all about having a greater sense of perspective here, I've been helping literally thousands of guys lose body fat, transform and change their lives. I'm still a kid in the candy shop when there's research and data studies that come out. I love that stuff. Whether I believe in it or not, or take it to my own practice or not, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that I'm learning, right? Remember, there's 3 key things here to have success in anything, right? And this is our 3-step fat loss formula that we go over at Heartletics. Acquisition, right? That's the big foundation. That's acquiring the knowledge. And I love life because you can always learn, right? It's not like you play a video game and you just beat the game and boom, it's over and done with. No, there's so many levels to life. And as long as you have fun with it and play around with it like that, you're always going to be learning more and more and more. All right, so acquisition. And then the next one up is obviously application. We acquire that knowledge. How do we apply it? Right? At Heartletics, we like to acquire the knowledge on burning body fat, changing somebody's mindset, and then applying it to somebody's lifestyle to help them create habits. And then lastly, accountability. Right? Remember, I said that all these, big top dogs, they all go to these mastermind groups and mastermind classes. Right? They have people to hold them accountable. They all have mentors, and the mentors have mentors, and the mentors have mentors, and so forth, right? I'm a coach, but I have coaches, because That's where you get people in your corner pushing you, helping you, but also reminding you like, hey, it's great that you're having success, but why aren't you here? And helping you and motivating you, pushing you to get to that next level. And so when it comes down to leadership and legacy, if you focus on a few key things here that I talked about in today's episode, this hopefully has a different perspective shift for you, because I want you to be a leader. I want you to leave a legacy. And I always want you to become that student in the game where you're constantly learning over and over and over again, and you're having fun with it. Because when you can focus on that, life becomes a lot of fun. And I promise you, when you can start doing these small little tasks, stepping outside your comfort zone each and every day, your life is going to be a complete 180 a year from today. Hands down.